eyes turned white, and I swear the sky split open. That's the first thing I remember, and I never forget it. Her name was Prophetess Ehoma, and in our village, people whispered her name like a warning. Some called her a gift from God. Others said she was a curse. I didn't believe in any of it until that night. It started with the sickness. People in the village had been coughing blood, their bodies breaking down like old wood. First, it was one person, then 3, then 10. No one knew what it was or how to stop it. The elders sent for doctors, but none came. We were too far, too poor, too forgotten. That's when they decided to call her. Ehoma lived on the edge of the forest in a small mud house with no windows. They said she never left except when the spirits told her to. I had only seen her once, when I was a boy. She had passed by the market, humming to herself, her long, thin frame draped in a faded red wrapper. Her hair was always wrapped tight, but people said it was because it was pure white, like an old woman's, though she couldn't have been more than 30. The night she came to the village square, the air felt different. Heavy, like it was pressing down on us. The fire in the middle of the square burned low, even though we had piled it high with wood. Everyone was quiet, waiting. Then she walked in. She didn't say a word at first, just stood there, looking at us. Her eyes, God help me. They were too bright, like they were seeing something we couldn't. She pointed to the fire and said, "Bring me ash." Her voice was soft but sharp, like a blade cutting through the silence. No one moved. Then she said it again, louder this time. Ash. My cousin, Chaik, was the first to move. He scooped some of the ash into an old calabash and brought it to her. She dipped her fingers into it and began to draw on the ground. Circles, lines, symbols I didn't recognize. And then she started to speak. It wasn't in our language or any language I'd ever heard. Her voice changed, too deeper, raspier, almost like there were two voices coming from her at once. That's when her eyes turned white. And the wind picked up out of nowhere, swirling the ash around her feet. The ground started to shake. Not much, just a little at first, like the earth was breathing. But then the sky, God, the sky, there was this loud crack, like thunder, but it wasn't raining. When I looked up, it was like something had torn a thin line right through the clouds. It wasn't natural. It wasn't right. People started screaming, some running back to their homes, others dropping to their knees, praying. I just stood there, frozen. That's when I saw them, figures in the dark. They weren't people. They didn't have faces, just long, shifting shadows that moved like smoke. They came out of the forest, circling her, whispering things I couldn't understand. And then, just as suddenly as it started, it stopped. The wind died down, the ground was still, and the sky was whole again. The figures vanished, and Ehoma collapsed onto the ground. When she opened her eyes, they were normal again. She looked tired, like she had aged 10 years in 10 minutes. "It's done," she said, her voice barely a whisper. But the forest would take its payment. We didn't know what she meant until the next day. Chaik was gone. No one could find him. His mother said she saw him walking toward the forest that morning, but he never came back. The sickness stopped after that. People said the prophetess saved us, but at what cost? To this day, I can't walk past the edge of the forest without feeling like something is watching me. I don't know what I saw that night, but I know one thing. There are powers in this world we don't understand, and sometimes, it's better to leave them alone.